Hello YouTube, the Eye of Stone here. This is a walkthrough of the Lost City, which is the 8th mission of Thief the Dark Project and the 11th mission of Thief Gold. The level is played on Expert, and this commentary was added after the fact. This is the Thief Gold version of the level, which results in several differences from the Thief the Dark Project version of this level. I operate Thief Gold due to the high demand for the Thief Gold unique missions, all of which will have been played by this point in Thief Gold. So now it's back to the original Thief the Dark Project OMs. The chief difference between the two is that in the Thief Gold version of the level, you're only after the Talisman of Fire as the primary objective, whereas in the Thief the Dark Project version of this level, you are after both the Talisman of Fire and the Talisman of Water. There are a couple other differences which I will point out as we go along. Right now, here at the beginning, I'm going to show the only mission critical reading, which is available for purchase while you equip yourself for the mission. If you don't buy and read this letter, there are several pieces of loot scattered throughout the level, which it won't occur to you that they're loot and they won't be worth anything. So you can pause it if you need more time, and off we go. Since this area is described at the end of Assassins as being home turf, this part of the city, they seem to imply that Garrett is living here. And on the right here is a well. So maybe this area served as the template for Garrett's building in South Quarter in Thief Deadly Shadows. So to get to the Lost City, we need to use this stone key to activate the pressure plate thusly. It's important to breathe. So you want to go to the corner of this room, breathe here, and then we're going to swim through this passage into a conical room, at the top of which there's another pocket of air. You definitely want to go up there and refill your lungs. You can't make it back out of the caverns, the flooded caverns, without taking damage if you don't breathe. While we're swimming, I will just say that I'm kind of happy that it's such a cut and dry matter that I can say, without a doubt, this is my least favorite level of the entire trilogy. Whereas what is my favorite level is this big, complicated, unanswerable question. It's just nice that I can just point to one and say, it's that one, and not have to come up with some kind of list. Normally you want to grab here, I miss it. I grab here, I get it. There's no reason to brawl with these spiders. I just keep a move on. You don't want to fall into that pool down there. I do engage these spiders. You have a nasty climb all the way back up here if you go for a swim. Now up here you can go to the right or the left. If you go to the right, you get an earlier view of the Lost City and a bunch of spiders. So I go to the left, and this always annoyed me. The reason that this is my least favorite level of the franchise is because this level scares the hell out of me. And there's a lot about it that's also annoying, but mainly it scares me.
How can the keepers keep this place a secret?
Well, because everyone, in addition to you, is willing to, just dying to get down here, Garrett. So, I'm gonna be content. I'm gonna content myself to take this first building at a pretty clipped pace, because I don't care to deal with an entire herd of Burricks that's in this building. There's a basement level to this building that I'm not even gonna bother with. Just because I don't care to deal unnecessarily with Burricks. Once we get clear of this building, I will be slowing down considerably, though.
Anybody home?
Unfortunately, yes. The Burricks merely annoy me, and there are too many of them in this level. But that's just an insult after the injury. This level is cold and dark. The cavern walls disappear into these unfathomable black abysses. And the architecture of the buildings is archaic, kind of like it was built by people in a primitive state of consciousness. You do have to floss the loot out of these buildings. There isn't much of it, but you can't rush. There's something about this level that is old on a Lovecraftian time scale, and thus something terrifying about it. This is the one part of the level right here that I actually enjoy, and that is serving the Burricks a battle they cannot win against a foe they can never harm. Experienced players probably already know more or less what I'm going to go and do here. This is also the only time I enjoy the company of the fire elementals. I'm simply going to create a few odd noises to attract their attention, and it helps to get the Burricks all riled up as well. There we go. Everybody make noise. Come get the nasty human. Fights on, fights on. I want to be ready in case they start firing at me, but I'm missing the action. Ha ha ha. I don't want to get just two of them. I want to get all of them who are over here, but it would be nice to get all of them. I noticed a difference between the Thief Gold and the Thief the Dark Project version of this level. In the Thief Gold version of this level, the projectiles that the fire elementals launch at you move much more quickly than they do in the Thief the Dark Project version. It's quick there too, but these are even faster. So I have a Burrick right down here, directly under me, and the fire elemental is only now engaging him. Glancing blows. That was a direct hit. Dare I to hope we can get this guy too. Good. That was a miss. That was another miss. I'm being fired upon. That was a hit. I will invest, since this is a walkthrough, There isn't much loot to floss out of these buildings, but I will slow it down and show the level. There's a building we're going to go into here, right there. Do you see that off-colored rectangle of bricks? I wonder if that isn't an operable door with God knows what on the other side of that. I've never found any reason to suspect that it is, but then again, I've never come back and looked at it after having, played the level to see whether or not that opens towards the end after a possible sequence of events has been completed. This was the last level of either of the first two games that I completed. So I will point out in just a few minutes here, we're going to get to a part of the level where the first time I tried to play this level, it terrified me so bad. I shut down, and I was aware of the level skip cheat the first time I played this game, and that was the one time on my initial run-through that I used the level skip, because I could not deal with this level. That was in the summer of 2000. I was somewhat younger than I am now, actually, a lot. And when I played Sabotage at Soulforge at the end of Thief the Metal Age, I got hung up on one particular step involving the production of the guiding beacon. And it took me like 2 weeks to beat that level. I'll finish the story, but I first want to add, when you go for these fire arrows, you want to lean as opposed to crawl, because you will end up crawling into that lava. So it took me 2 weeks to beat Sabotage the first time. It was a stupid mistake, but I realized that, okay, I had to man up and come back here and do this level all the way through. But the point is, it wasn't until after I'd beaten Soulforge that I finally came back and did this one all the way through. I will point out what routed me. I understand. So, if you look at those, there's several points in the level where what you have on your map corresponds to things you see on structures in the Lost City. So that's how you use the map you have to navigate. This part sums everything up perfectly. That big black maw of nothingness and these crooked buildings that are already pretty ancient looking already. It's just a match made in hell for me. I understand that, they were trying to break the monotony of the city and that they were trying to take Garrett on an adventure, but this part right here, so it turns out there was no loot to floss out of here, but yes, you can vault up onto it. This is somehow pretty archaeological for Thief, for Garrett. I'm struck with the thought that the Thief team felt they needed to pay homage of some kind to Tomb Raider. I remember the old school Eidos website where, you would see Garrett with his bow next to Lara Croft. Now, I waste a shot of opportunity here. That's a miss. This point right here, I was playing on normal, I was not playing on expert the first time, so this is the first point where you encounter fire elementals, and I have this position of cover that I'm camping from I didn't know to use it the first time, and I didn't think there were, I believe on normal, instead of 3 fire elementals as we're dealing with right now, I think there's only 2, but I thought there was only 1. So I got ambushed I had a very rude surprise. I've never really learned how to deal with that noise. There's a third. We need to stay undercover. He's on a longer circuit. Now, the directional audio always does something weird, and you will see me several times, I believe, turn around instinctively, wondering if finally the fire elemental is finally going to do whatever the hell it wants, not what the game has programmed it to do, and come up from behind. And the first time I know about it is when I'm going to be zapped. This part is the stuff nightmares are made out of for me. See, I'm checking. Even though I know it's going to come that way. Now, right here, there's a fire arrow over there, and I can't remember if there's loot over there or not, but it's tricky to get over there. Well, it's not tricky to get over there, but it's very tricky to get back. So, I skipped it this time. Or it's trickier to get back anyway. I kind of, impulsively rode off going over there. I probably shouldn't have done that, but it can't do it all. So the loot in this level is clustered. There are several major loot clusters, like 2 or 3 of them, and you need to be thorough or you won't be able to make the requirement, because you have a requirement for your loot, but a certain amount of it has to be in gems. So I enjoy the Bone Horde, and I play it a lot. And I'm gonna miss one right here. There's one on the floor that I miss, but I come back for it later. I enjoy the Bone Horde immensely, and I play it often. I like the Sunken Citadel in Thief Deadly Shadows. But I don't like this level. Here's one of the masks on the floor here, 2 of them. And if you hadn't read that letter from Gervasius, I forget. This is Thief Gold. In Thief the Dark Project, you either can't pick those masks up, or they don't mean anything to you. They're not worth anything. They're not loot. I've only been playing Thief Gold for a very limited amount of time so far, and I already can't remember which of the 2 it is, whether you can't even pick those masks up or if they're just not worth anything. It bothers me that I can't remember that. But I enjoy the Sunken Citadel from Thief 3 and the Bone Horde immensely. And again, those are 2 levels that I play. I only play this level once per campaign, so if I start out at the first mission and go all the way through Thief Gold, and I want to go from one level to the next, and I need money to equip myself each time. There we go. I got the one I missed. You don't skip this level because you don't want to go into undercover with no money to spend. But I only come here because I have to. Now, I just want to explain for people who may not have watched my other walkthroughs that there's going to be a 40-second pause right here where I went and refilled my coffee. I need coffee to do these walkthroughs, but I do not like pausing or breaking the integrity of the recording unless it's absolutely necessary. That's why I tend to put mission critical readings first at the beginning of a walkthrough before I actually start recording, and why I don't do non-mission critical readings as a part of this walkthrough, because I like to keep this. I like to deliver a quality of play that does not necessitate quick saving and thus quick loading. So I don't give myself breaks. So I'm already back. It doesn't add that much time. Having said all that, this level, always a thorn in my side, always has been, probably always will be. There are several points in this level, 3 of them actually, where I just went ahead and quick saved. You will see me quick save, and then after the quick save thingy disappears at the top of the screen, because I'm a good editor, you might not notice it otherwise, but as soon as that save successful disappears, we're in another dimension where I actually survived the thing I was about to do. There's 3 times it came to the point where I wasn't going to start this over all the way from the beginning yet again. So, for one time only, I broke my rule. It isn't necessary anywhere else. Just this level. There's just something about this level. We're gonna head to where, if this were the Thief the Dark Project version of the level, we're heading to where the Talisman of Water would be. Now, it's a tomb off to the side here, and you get there by jumping over these smaller tombs over a lake of lava. The difference is that here there is no Talisman of Water, and when you steal the Talisman of Water in the Thief the Dark Project version of this level, you get a bunch of Craymen looking for you. Instead of that, I guess since we stole their Earth Talisman a couple of missions ago, the mages of the Hand Brotherhood are here looking for a replacement talisman. And it just figures that the Hand Brotherhood would be here. It's like, what level are we going to go to if we're going to be somewhere besides our tower? Yes, I know. I don't like the Hand Brotherhood. They annoy me profusely. You know, they can't say I didn't see anything after all. It was a false vision.
What have we here?
Nothing.
I'll explain this in a second. So another goal we're dealing with in this mission is the Keepers. It's an expert difficulty level thing. The Keepers sent an expedition here long ago and it didn't return. So a secondary goal of the level is to recover these. These are Keeper talismans, and there are 2 of them that you need to get. It's not a loot thing, it's just a hidden object, I guess, that you have to find, but they're not difficult. Now, while I'm trying to do the Lost City, my least favorite level, I don't have a lot of time to play nice with the Hand Brotherhood mages, so I am going to deliver a number of headaches that I need to just get on my merry way. I leave plenty of them standing by the time I'm done with this level, but not all of them.
I shall walk the path.
These guys lay it on so thick. The conceit and the melodrama are just off the chart. Now, another difference from Thief the Dark Project. In Thief the Dark Project, this passage here is much shorter, rather. And there's only one wooden beam that you need to put a rope arrow into, because the again, this passage with this passage emptying down into the lava is much shorter, so you only need one beam and one rope arrow. And as you can see, we're now in another dimension where I survived this on the first try. In this case, it's more a matter of unfamiliarity. If this had been Thief the Dark Project, this wouldn't have been a problem. Garrett just didn't grab the rope for whatever reason on my first attempt, and I wasn't going to start all the way over again over something like that. That's the type of accident that can happen in the best of times. You may want to consider, when you play this level, ducking right about now. Yeah.
Still. Nothing.
It looks as though... Oh, something. It looks as though one of our fellow brothers wasn't careful. Too bad. Too bad. We have a reason to be here.
I shall walk the path until my return.
There is a lever we need to get to operate a bridge later to get us across some lava. Now, because there's a... Well, more on this later. I'll talk about this when we get to it, which will be only too soon. This level absolutely Rambos you with fire arrows. You need water arrows, but there's something like 20 fire arrows available here. I don't know what the exact count is, but it's close to 20.
The winds are not
There's a piece of loot. If you can see that room with the orange and green border, there's nothing in there, so I'm not going to risk. That's nice. It's a different sound in Thief the Dark Project, but when I was down here after the Talisman of Water, that thing operated when I wasn't inside of it. And again, I hit the ceiling once I finally had gotten to this point. See, I beat the level, but it just terrorized me all the way through. And the Shell Bridge Cradle in Thief 3 is scarier, but it's scarier in a way that I like. I don't like the way this level is scary. Now, when I jump off this first tomb onto the second one, I could have swore I heard them. See if you can hear it. I don't know if you could hear it, but you saw I stopped and looked. It sounded like they were yelling at the top of their lungs, but they were being drowned out by the lava. But I could have swore I heard them saying something loudly. I don't want to take the proverbial annoying 1 point of damage by jumping off these tombs too quickly, so I took the long way down. We're coming up to a point where we're going to have to use that lever to extend a bridge to get across, again, another lake of lava. There's a earth mage, because the mages occur in a second area of this level. There's an earth mage standing watch directly in your way. If you were ghosting the level, for example, and trying to ghost or go for a supreme, I'm not as up to date on the terms and what they mean as I need to be. it'll be a new subject of research for an elderly player who was never a ghoster, but I wonder how you would get across to the other side where you need to get without KOing this guy. We're going to see him in a few minutes here. I guess the only thing I can figure is that there is a way to jump the distance rather than even bother extending the bridge. That has to be it, because I don't see any way you could get around him. That may be wrong, though. That said, I haven't tried. There may be just enough width that you could get past him, but then once you're out on the bridge, you're illuminated, and I don't see how he'd miss you there. But there is obviously a solution. And I have challenged myself to play these levels over the years in a manner which would probably approximate some of the less stringent criteria for ghosting. So it isn't accurate to say I've never ghosted a level, but I'm not sure. There's ghosting and then there's ghosting. And I'm curious to see where my most stealthy falls in terms of the ghosting criteria. It's really as simple as going to TTLG and just reading about it. Yeah, by the way, a shout out for those of you who may not know, www.ttlg.com. It's the Thief fan community. I just remembered I forgot a piece of loot here, so I came back for it. This is another major loot cluster. If you want to make the loot requirement, you have to be thorough with these loot clusters. Now there's loot in this room on the right here, and then that passage, I get closer to it for the purpose of commenting on it. Right here, I don't hear him this time, which was kind of odd, but usually there's a fire mage standing in the lava there on the Thief Gold version, I've noticed. So here is the Earth Mage I was talking about, and he's guarding. This is where the bridge will extend. We're gonna use the lever to operate the
I
machinery
shall
that
walk
extends
the
the
path
bridge.
till my return to the eternal fire.
But it seems to me if you were gonna ghost that or supreme it, again, I'm not even sure which term I'm trying to use here, you would need to jump that onto a moss arrow or something. But I do believe there's a type of ghosting where you're not even allowed to use arrows. That might be wrong. My ignorance of it is really embarrassing. Maybe after I've completed this walkthrough, in which I'm basically just doing it the way I do it, maybe to continue giving myself a challenge, I'll go back and do a ghosting walkthrough at some point. Maybe. Now, there's an air mage on roaming patrol down here and a fire mage. I've noticed a shift happens in the air mage's route after he's seen you for the first time. What I'm doing now is I'm losing my patience, because I could have swore in another run of this level he came and patrolled this area, and I'm waiting to ambush him. But then in subsequent times he only starts patrolling this area after he's seen you once and had the chance to simmer down. I'm waiting for him and he's not coming, so eventually I just get sloppy. This is not my finest hour coming up right here. All I can say is I don't actually take any damage.
Presents itself.
They saw me.
While you can, wish shadows reveal your cowardice, intruder. Nothing.
Oh, something.
The shadows will not shelter you forever.
I shall walk the path till my return to the eternal fire.
The goal is to douse that torch and incapacitate the fire mage in one shot. But the air mage is invincible to the gas arrow, and the fire mage is invincible to the fire arrow. See, now the air mage is patrolling over here. It's like, what gives?
I warn you.
The force of the elements will fall
Darkness
upon
will
you.
not protect you for long.
Use the
Shadow,
force.
our unwelcome guest, revealed himself to me.
He did what?
Escape
The
He
intruder
did no
eludes
such
you for
thing.
now.
Believe
wish
it.
to be left alone.
You
This air
cannot
mage is
escape
lucky to
the
be
inevitable.
left standing at the end of this. Several times I almost frag his ass, but
You cannot
He
run from
survives.
your fate.
the air mage's magical attack, see, I was on the verge of killing him. The air mage's magical attack tracks you.
Leave us while you can. He may have
They
returned
don't
to
ever
darkness,
seem to get tired
but
of the sound
time
of
is
their
on
own
my
voice.
side.
My commentary is having trouble
Do
competing
you
with
see
him.
death in the darkness?
It's like, guys, I don't need a philosophy lesson while we play Thief. I want to do something. I want to toss him into the lava, but that's not Thief. It's not actually necessary. Let's just go. Now, because I'm less familiar, the sound carries in an odd way here, and what we're hearing is the air mage down there. I go up here and I lurk for a minute, wondering if anybody is home up here, but there isn't. There is, however, a mask for Gervasius up here. It was a nice touch to see Mr. Lord Gervasius in the second game, and masks is in my top 3 favorite levels. There's also that loot up here, and this loot. So you have good reason to get up here. I don't do spectacular on this run through, loot-wise. I do okay. I come up, I believe it's 755 short of max loot, so not terrible, but not spectacular. Good enough. I believe you need 2,400 in loot to make it out of here, including 500 in gems. Something like that. The stats I will have the stats and the goals at the end. And we will see. Again, I guess you would have to jump this and not have the Earth Mage see you. Or maybe there's a way to get up onto the roof. I don't know. I'm curious. We're getting closer to the Talisman of Fire now. So there's this tall structure here. I want to mention that you come back to the Lost City in Thief 2, in Thief the Metal Age, and the level is laid out differently so that this area where we are right here is a very out-of-the-way place that you can't really get to unless you're looking for it. And in that top area of this structure right here, there's a very valuable diamond drill bit that's worth a lot. It's a good way to bump your loot up. It's one of two, I believe. But again, I think you need to read something before it means anything to you, but that might be wrong. This is the second Keeper camp where there's a medallion to be found. There are several Keeper journals and campsites scattered throughout the level, but now we have the medallions taken care of. I'm just flossing these corners even though there's no loot available. It's just a good habit. It's Cthulhu.
Creepy.
This is just one of those stupid, annoying points right here where you don't want to take a pass on that 2 pieces of loot. But, you know, your kinesthetics have to be beyond perfect for this to never, ever get you at least once. We're getting close to the Talisman of Fire, but we want to stop for the loot. We don't want to leave the loot. This first tower here is a pain in the ass, but I managed to get through this without a problem. And you want to get your water arrows ready, because you have some friends.
So, this is the Lost City. It's not lost no more.
It's a perennial subject of fan interest why Garrett pitched his voice that way. At least it used to be a perennial subject of fan influence. I don't really know if people are still musing over that anymore. And lacking in all reason or mercy, the staircase is out. So we're now going to embark upon my least favorite part of the whole franchise. Yes, it is. It's my least favorite part of my least favorite level of the whole franchise. Even so, I can't resist the temptation of a long-range shot. Now, in spite of the distances involved, I have never missed these 2 shots. There's maybe it's the fact that you're firing almost straight down, I don't know, or the fact that they're just standing still. Now, I only needed to try this twice. And on the second attempt, which was actually successful, -1 rope arrow. I actually got up there, and you'll see it in a second. I fall back down onto the ledge, at which point I just started grabbing with abandon. And there has to be some kind of trick to this part that I just haven't figured out to make it easier than it is. Because while it's supposed to be dangerous, and while there's supposed to be risks involved, it probably is not supposed to be as hard as I'm making it for myself right here. Although maybe it is. Maybe there's no good way to do this. But I'm just throwing myself at it because I don't figure I'm going to be able to recover and that it's going to be a reload before I pull this off. But I actually survive. Something about those wooden beams sticking out, it seems to suggest to me that if I were just a bit more clever, there's got to be a way to get onto the roof of this building by using either an exploit or something that's just hidden in plain sight. And maybe there's some loot up there on the roof. But I've never invested the time to figure it out because I don't like this level. But maybe I should ordain to give it a serious look. So, in we go. I won't need those. And here's the Talisman of Fire. And boy, do I wish there was a bridge going to that. Maybe there is if you know how to activate it. Often in Thief, there are shorter ways out, like the hidden exit, although it's hardly even hidden. You just have to have some common sense. The exit in the Bone Horde. My brain was so shot at this point that I was actually considering going back out there, but if you kneel down and take it slow, you can do this jump here without suffering any damage. But following the general principle of the relatively easy exit out of the Bone Horde, it seems to me that maybe there's some kind of magical bridge you could extend. Maybe not, though. I've never found it in a dozen years of playing. So that means I'm either really missing something or that it's just not there. I've never read about anything. So at this point, Jonas wants out by the fastest route possible. See, this is where the level really gets annoying. It's like, come on, I just am trying to get out of here. Why are you making me do it like this? I'm keeping my water arrows armed and ready. The spinning arrow is kind of like a heads-up display. Weapons armed. I don't care to be flanked by this guy. Shouldn't call him a guy. He's a fire elemental. So due to numerous annoying delays, I've had to record the commentary for this level like 5 times, and every time I have a friend coming up here. Every time I've tried to record the commentary for this level, there have been either irreconcilable script problems or technical difficulties. So it's come to the point that I already have the walkthrough of Undercover done and uploaded at the time of this commentary. I was trying to do one of my long-range shots here, but I was already frazzled, and I was way out of range. I waste some arrows here, just because I want out. It's a miss. But goodness willing, I finally have a good commentary track, so obviously this level is uploaded and you're watching it, and at this point I am really keen to finish up the walkthrough of Thief the Dark project, and I will be doing Thief Gold, the 3 Thief Gold unique missions, as their own separate playlist. I'm more eager to just jump into the Thief Metal Age walkthrough, so that'll be next. I will do the walkthrough for Thief Gold before I embark upon the Thief Deadly Shadows walkthrough, but I want to do Thief the Metal Age first. After I beat Thief the Dark project, I went on to Thief the Metal Age. But hopefully by the time I'm ready to do the walkthrough for Thief Deadly Shadows, I will have done an upgrade. The system I have now could do the walkthrough for Thief Deadly Shadows decently well. I don't think you'd notice any drop in quality from what I have right now, but it would be nice to... I want to build a system that can do Thief 3 and Thief 4, and then have a partition with XP for the first 2 games, so that hopefully it would be a situation where I could get all 4 games on one computer. But if that doesn't work, I'll maintain a legacy computer for the first, for Thief Gold and for Thief the Metal Age. Now here I get to play Fire Elemental, although my aim is pretty bad. I just want out of this level. Whatever I'm doing, I'd rather be out of this level. I have a bunch of glancing blows, and I was going to be damned if I was going to suffer any damage at the hands of a Burrick. Glancing blows, if that. Do not like Burricks. Now, this fire thingy here, I notice it occurs in both the Thief Gold and the Thief Dark Project version of this level. What is that little fire thingy there? Is that supposed to be decorative, or is it is it just a rough thing that they never fixed? And with that, I am in the clear. So again, in this point in the commentary, I am about to embark upon the gameplay for the walkthrough of Return to the Cathedral. I've had several attempts thus far, and it will be coming soon. There are some... So, this is the end of the level, and here are the goals. So it's 2,000 in loot, plus 500, including 500 in gems. So it wasn't 2,400, it was just 2,000 total. And we're going to have stats coming in just a second here. Here are the stats. So 2450 out of 3205. But with Return to the Cathedral, we're into the latter part of this walkthrough. So I will see everybody again soon. Later.